Hey everybody, thank you for attending the presentation today. I'm going to be your host, Art Janowick III, and I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing for Conover Company. And today we are going to review the skill sets for a pandemic workplace. And I know you've noticed over the last several months, things have changed. COVID-19 has dramatically changed how we go about conducting our daily lives. In both schools and the workplace, our daily routines have changed dramatically. No longer is it taken for granted that in-person meetings are necessary to accomplish what needs to be done. With the rise in demand from working from home comes the need for a whole new set of critical workplace skills for managing in these times of chaos. Even in the schools, we see that when schools are shut down for the brick and mortar in-person settings, virtual picks up speed. And students are spread out throughout a region, working toward a same goal on the same assignment, but obviously not physically in the same spot. The need for these social and emotional learning skills has been around for a long time, but was overlooked oftentimes, right? Until now. These skills have everything to do with managing our emotions. Some people call them social and emotional learning, or SEL, S-E-L for short. I prefer to call them what they are, and that's emotional intelligence, or EQ, or EI, right? But emotional intelligence. These emotional intelligence skills are a critical element for a happy, productive, and well-lived life. A quote from the Dalai Lama sums it up nicely. He says, "As human beings, we all want to be happy and free from misery. We have learned that the key to happiness is inner peace. The greatest obstacles to inner peace are disturbing emotions such as anger, attachment, fear, and suspicion, while love and compassion and a sense of universal responsibility are the sources of peace and happiness." With so much fear, worry, and anxiety caused by the pandemic, it is only logical that we take a step back, take a breath, and learn how to control our emotions before they take off without us. Because what is the new normal? Even before the pandemic crisis began, things in the workplace were changing. They were starting to shift. Fewer people were doing more work with much less direct supervision. Once COVID-19 hit, this took on a whole new meaning. All workers must be able to direct their own work performance, manage their time efficiently, and remain motivated throughout the work week, and do this week after week after week. This new pressure to function independently at high levels of performance has ushered in the need for higher levels of emotional intelligence than ever before. If you search the internet for the most important workplace skill needed during this period of time, I'm most certain that you'll find the skill of emotional intelligence will be mentioned. It was mentioned before the pandemic. It is most certainly going to be mentioned now because of the changing workplace. Right? And speaking of change, humans don't really like change. Did you ever notice that, we human beings don't like that change and uncertainty, that feeling? Even if the change is for the better, right? It's for the best. We still fight it and try to bring things back to what we know, what we're comfortable with. We don't like being uncomfortable. In today's schools and businesses, the need to quickly adapt to remote work, to remote learning, has made an abrupt change in our daily lives. And this is the new normal. If we look at it, this is the new normal, which may be with us for some time. Puts new emphasis on self-management, working independently as part of a remote team, finding new ways to motivate ourselves and remain motivated, and most importantly, the ability to set goals and take personal responsibility to achieve those goals. Okay? And, I for one can speak to this in the sense that working from home has been a bit of a change. I have some younger kids, and so some school age, some not yet. And so, I'm having meetings and my kids are running behind me. So I have to, relay that to both my team and my clients and customers that I talk with, because I have to share with them that, hey, this is what it is, right? And so we need to adapt and communicate those things. And I also need to figure out how to work most effectively and efficiently with that going on. And so Conover Company, to get in a little bit about us, Conover Company for over 40 years has been researching and developing tools for properly assessing and teaching these critical skills. Right? Our goal is to improve our schools, workplaces, and communities. And our research has led us to understand that there are 3 basic cornerstones to improve human performance, and each one builds upon the next. So here's what I mean by that. I'm a visual learner, so I wanted to share this pyramid with you. These are the 3 cornerstones. It starts at the bottom with emotional intelligence. And that's going to correlate in a little bit later here. I'm going to talk about it. Actually, next slide. The personal skills map. That's all about emotional intelligence. Next is goal achievement. And that's going to be coupled with our personal responsibility map. And then finally, it's soft skills. And that's going to be our job readiness map. And these 3 build upon one another. These are the 3 cornerstones. You can't have one at the top without the one that's the base, the bottom. So let's take a closer look at these 3. Let's look at that bottom one, number 1 there, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the base upon which all other skills must be built. The personal skills map is an assessment. And again, I'll show you that in a little bit here. It will show you where you are and help you map out a path to build the emotional intelligence skills that you need to improve upon. The middle one there is goal achievement, and that is coupled with our personal responsibility map. And goal achievement abilities are assessed using that research-based tool to identify the 12 areas and where you stand with those 12 areas, which again, I'll share with you what those are. And then the final phase there at the very, very tip top is soft skills. And soft skills are the skills that employers are asking for, that they're looking for, and are the key to success in all areas of life. Right? These skills are assessed using the job readiness map. If you desire to build a solid future, you must pay attention to the foundation. Conover's Emotional Intelligence Program is part of our bigger success profiler system, and that is a solid foundation. Okay, now this is what a finished result looks like. I always like to share these with you, with anybody, because I want to start with the end in mind of what we're trying to attain, what we're trying to do. And so this is sample results of the personal skills map. And emotional intelligence is that foundation, is that base upon which all other of the social emotional skills are built. Emotional intelligence is a learned ability to identify, explain, understand, and express human emotions in a healthy and productive way, and is the gateway to lifelong learning and personal success. In fact, if you visit, there's a website, there's an organization, the National Soft Skills Association. And if you visit that site, there is an article on there from the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. And what's interesting about it is not so much the research. The research just basically talks about how 85% of success comes from having life skills and these personal skills. And that's fine because there's some other research studies out there. What's interesting is the timing of the research. The Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching did this study in 1918, so 102 years ago. And I would argue that we haven't changed much of what we're doing in the sense of teaching and incorporating these skill sets in a robust, objective way. You know, it's kind of like an afterthought. Like, hey, I gotta train this person up in HVAC, or I gotta train this person up in math or reading or science, right? And those things are important. They're critical to success. You know, because you need to know how to do a job or a skill set, absolutely. But success points to these skills. And what are we doing in an objective, research-based way to incorporate these skills? And a lot of times that question is hard to answer. Okay. And it can be simple. It can be simple. Assessment drives instruction. Assessment drives instruction. Because in distance learning, technology is used within our system to make it possible to deliver that instruction where it is needed, anytime, anywhere, and on any device. Okay, our system tracks everything, all the results, and allows you to produce reports of every single user in the system. Pre-assessment, skill enhancement, post-assessment, all built into our system. So that goes for the personal skills map, which is emotional intelligence. This goes for the personal responsibility map, which targets that goal achievement. And then it also goes with the job readiness map, which is soft skills. Okay, so here, just going back to this is an example of the personal responsibility map. Because goal achievement is the ability to have clear, specific written goals or objectives with plans and target dates for reaching them. Goal setting and achievement requires personal responsibility. Goal setting takes into account your view of possibilities or the extent to which your goals are internally viewed within your ability to achieve. Goal achievement is the growth mindset, and it draws upon the emotional intelligence competencies learned in our emotional intelligence program. So I hope you see how these are stacking, right? How each of these programs are stacking up. And then soft skills, which is, again, measured within our job readiness map. Soft skills is a simple term used for a complex set of personal qualities that make up an individual, a positive contributing member of any organization. It could be school in this current state right now. It could be a career center, and then it could be a job or the workplace in a year or so, right? A few years, several years. Soft skills are built upon emotional intelligence and goal achievement competencies. Right? For example, one of the key soft skills for any organization is teamwork. Here is how these skills build upon each other to assist in development of the soft skills, and in this example, teamwork. So if we look at the bottom, we see the social emotional competencies. We see interpersonal awareness, interpersonal assertion, empathy, sales orientation, leadership, support environment. And if we break down those social emotional competencies, the emotional intelligence, right, we can go into teamwork. And these are the teamwork competencies: respecting others, active listening, demonstrating reliability, participating, right? And if we focus on those competencies, what do we get? We're going to get teamwork. We're going to get teamwork. Again, this pyramid, this base. Start with the base, work your way up, you'll get to the end goal, which in this case is teamwork. And I hope you're catching a rhythm, an understanding of what we're trying to do and explain is, a lot of these competencies are understood. In fact, I saw a number of presentations at this conference as well as some others that I've attended virtually as of late, right? But a lot of the presentations are focused on these types of skill sets, right? These types of competencies, these types of success, saying, hey, you need these skills. And that's all. And I love that. I love the fact that we see that out there. The one thing and the one caveat I always share is assess. You have to be able to assess, because there are books and things out there, and that's great. But if there's not a structure in place, a process in place, it just becomes another thing for you to do. And especially in a CTE program, the career technical education, there are certain requirements and time standards and things that need to happen that are already difficult to follow. And so we want to make sure that you understand that if you follow a process, a seamless process, it doesn't have to be another thing, right? Roll your eyes, another thing. It can be something that can truly make an impact and be simple. Because one of the big questions that we always get, either at this point or, if someone calls us and says, hey, I heard about you guys. How do I do all of this, right? Everything you just mentioned, along with everything else I have to do. How do I focus on these three cornerstones of emotional intelligence, goal achievement, and soft skills, along with everything else I have to do. Simple. Use a research-based tool to measure these competencies objectively. A research-based tool to measure these competencies objectively. It's a simple 3-step process to implement. Let me show you what I mean. So no matter what the cornerstone is, whether it's emotional intelligence, whether it's goal achievement, whether it's soft skills, it follows the same 3-step process. Number 1, a pre-assessment. I look at it from the lens of like math and reading and science and other, technical skills, hard skills. What do? You give a test. You want to measure. Like, where are you at? Where are you at with these things? What do you understand? What do you not understand? Same thing applies with these competencies. You want to assess. Make sure that it's research-based. It's not something that's just thrown together. But it's a validated assessment to get a measure where each person is at. Because once you get results, you get where each person is at, then you can do targeted skill enhancement. You can say, hey, Marcus, you need to go through this attitude unit because you did not score well on attitude. Art, you need to score, you didn't score too well on critical thinking, so you need to go through critical thinking skill enhancement. And that's how this is designed. It's going to drive instruction, right? Assessment drives instruction. And then finally, post-assess. You want to measure where exactly do they stand. They scored a 50% on the pre-assessment. Then after they went through the pre-assessment, then they went through some skill enhancement, and then they went through a post-assessment to document any growth. Where are they now? Where are they now? So the simple 3-step process: pre-assessment, skill enhancement, driven by that pre-assessment, post-assessment. So let me show you exactly what I mean by this. I'm going to log in to our system. This is our online system. And I'm going to log in as a user. I want you to see what exactly this would look like. And when I log in, I'm going to click on the Success Profiler. And the Success Profiler, once I click that, again, following that 3-step process, the very first step that I need to do is an assessment. So let's start that. We want to measure emotional intelligence. We want to start at that base of the pyramid. And so they're going to go through an emotional intelligence assessment. It's going to have full audio for any non-readers. It's going to be self-paced. It's asynchronous, so they don't have to be in the classroom to do this or during hours, certain hours. They can do this whenever, wherever. And what we're going to ask them questions like, when I'm really angry with someone, I usually feel some tension or worry, but comfortable in expressing exactly what is on my mind. When I'm really angry with someone, I usually feel confused about what to say. So we're going to ask them these questions, right? We're going to ask them these questions and they're going to answer. It's an 84-question assessment. Again, asynchronous. They could do this whenever. It saves their location individually. It's anonymous, except for you, the instructor or the advisor, right, going through it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up quick. I want to show you what the finished results look like. And what's going to happen is instantly they're going to get results. And it's going to show along a spectrum, it's more or less a bell curve, where exactly they're at with these skill sets. And then what our system does is it automatically assigns curriculum. So, for example, if we go through this assessment, we're going to say, hey, this is where you scored with these areas. Now you need to improve. And so let's go ahead and identify those automatically and assign those automatically. So it looks like this. So anywhere that they scored red is going to be assigned to them automatically so they can begin to explore these areas. There's going to be videos in here to model these types of behaviors, to explain these things and where exactly they are. And then we're going to have checkpoints. I call them checkpoints, but to check to make sure the videos that they're watching, they're paying attention to them. And so we're going to ask them questions based off of this. And so the same thing applies in the other two programs, right? So when we talk about the three cornerstones, when we talk about these three cornerstones, soft skills, goal achievement, emotional intelligence, I just am focusing down here on this emotional intelligence one. But the soft skills one works the same exact way. And so they would go through the assessment. Once they finish that assessment, all of those results are going to be documented and saved. And so if I were to show you what that looks like, right? There is going to be the job readiness program. And so all three of these programs work exactly the same way. And what's really powerful about this is that everything's saved. So when you log in as an administrator, you're able to look at real time what each one of your users are working on and what they've accomplished and what they're still working on. It's going to show you that data. When you underneath the reports, it's going to show exactly what has happened, how long time on task, their overall scores. It's going to show exactly what is there. So you can download this as a PDF. You can print it out hard copy. Whatever you choose to do is totally up to you. Now, one of the things that we've heard from people is that, you know, the reports are robust. The individualized nature of this is robust. It's really, really neat. These skill sets to identify these three cornerstones are powerful. They love the fact that it's asynchronous. So you can literally just sign in, assign it to a user, and they go through and run with it. Now, we've also then had advisors and teachers say, hey, you know what, though? I want, as a teacher, I want to share this as a class. I want to go over this. I want to, in a synchronous way, explain to my users and tweak it to my own, adjustments to ensure that they understand what exactly these things are. So what we did was we have not only that asynchronous model where they go through and they finish the assessments and whatnot and go through the skill enhancements, but we have a synchronous model where teachers have access to all of our videos along with PDF workbooks. So you would go to anything you want, whether it's personal responsibility for goal setting, whether it's our emotional intelligence program, or even our workplace readiness program. And you can click this as an instructor in a group setting. We'll just click on job readiness, and then click a competency like professionalism. And so whether you're in person, whether you have a hybrid thing and you want to go online with certain things, there is a course workbook that is downloadable. And then there's all these videos that you can share in a classroom setting. And so how this looks and works is you have this workbook for professionalism, for example, is 38 pages. And what you're going to do is click on, let's just click on one here I'll just pick one. Personal responsibility, right? Perfect, for professionalism. You see how they're all tied together, right? So if I click on personal responsibility, we're going to have a video of personal responsibility. This one's 43 seconds, explaining personal responsibility, what exactly it is, and then we have questions. We have questions to answer, along with the different scenarios as well. And I'll let this play out just a touch, but there's full audio to accompany all of this. And then they can answer questions based off of those videos. For example, what is a goal? What is goal achievement? Why is it important to write down your goals, right? So all of this stuff is going to be documented and saved in real time. All right. And so I hope the presentation, I hope I was able to share with you exactly why these are the skill sets needed for this pandemic workplace. And I say it in the sense that it will end, right? I don't know when, no one knows really when it'll officially end, but it will. And when we do get back to face-to-face and more situations of normalcy, if you will, of what it was, these skill sets aren't going to go away. In fact, now they're noticed. Now companies and organizations have realized, hey, maybe we can work remote. Maybe I don't have to pick from this pool of employees right here in this local area. I can go national. I can go international. But having those three cornerstones of emotional intelligence, goal achievement, and soft skills is going to be critical no matter what industry, no matter what career, no matter what level, entry level up to CEO. And so we would love an opportunity to partner with you sitting here today watching this. You can visit our website at www.conovercompany.com. You can give us a ring on the phone if you like talking, right? You can find us on social as well. And you can visit our booth. We actually have a booth here. We have another a session that is on soft skills specifically, a soft skills credential if you want to check that out. But we do have a booth where you can message us and interact with us and check out some resources on our booth. And we would love an opportunity to work with you just like we have with other CTE programs across this great country. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out. Thank you so much.